Hey there, let me hit that one more time. Hey everybody, welcome to day 2 of my live series, Speak Truth to Power. If you're here live, I'd like for you to just drop a microphone in the comments below. That lets me know that you're ready to dive in. And if you're watching this replay, just go ahead and let me know. Hit me with that hashtag replay. I just want to see who's tuning in. I want to see who's here, who's with me. I'm Takenya, a public speaking coach who helps ambitious professionals, leaders, and entrepreneurs own the stage and amplify their voices. Using my background as a classically trained musician, my background as a military veteran, and as an entrepreneur, I teach you how to speak like a pro with power, reach, and opportunity so that you can step into every space with confidence and command attention. That's saying a lot. That's saying a lot. All right, that was like which one of these do I want to drop here? Checking it out. Yesterday, we talked about how silence keeps you stuck and how your voice is the key to breaking free. If you want to stay where you are, be silent because silence yields consent. Silence says you're okay with what's going on. Nothing ever changes if if you don't change. If you never open your mouth to speak, you're never going to get the thing that you seek. You got to open up your mouth, baby boo. You got to say something and be intentional about it. So yesterday we talked about how silence keeps you stuck and how your voice is the key to breaking free. And I introduced my PRO framework, power, reach, and opportunity. And I shared how speaking up helps you reclaim your life. Let me know in the comments what resonated the most with you from day 1. Was it my spill on power? How you reclaim your power, or how you expand your reach, or how you increase your opportunities? Today is all about rewriting your story. So, whether you're in a courtroom or a boardroom or even in your living room having a conversation, your voice has the power to take control of the narrative. And this is a Zora Neale Hurston quote that some of you may already know, but it's very poignant and relevant to today's discussion. If you are silent about your pain, they'll kill you and say you enjoyed it. Silence doesn't protect you from judgment. It just keeps you invisible and unheard. Your voice isn't just a tool for survival, sweetie. It's your weapon for transformation. I'm going to ask you this question here. What part of your story do you feel needs to be rewritten? Is it the part of your story where you felt like a failure? Is it the part of your story where somebody really did you wrong? And you maybe you didn't handle it in a way you would have liked to. But what part of your story do you feel needs to be rewritten? You can just drop a word or a phrase in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to be of support to you through this. What part of your story do you feel needs rewriting? This is what happens when you don't take control of the narrative. This is what happens when you let somebody else tell your story. So here's the cost of letting somebody else tell your story. When you let others define your story, you give them control over your narrative. And that control comes at a cost. Because if you don't tell your story, somebody else will. And when they do it, they're probably not going to be telling the truth. Your truth, the truth, a truth, any truth. When you don't tell your story, someone else will. And when they do it, it's not going to reflect what your truth actually is. People are going to fill in the gaps with anything that they want to. And I've seen this happen in my own life. When I stayed silent during those pivotal moments, when I allowed others to speak for me on my behalf, and that person may not have had my best interest in mind, it cost me because their version of my story wasn't the one that I wanted to live in. I don't want to live in their truth. I needed to live in my truth. But I had given my control away and let somebody else tell my story. I need you to take control of that narrative. Reclaim that narrative. Because when you stay stuck on those old things that somebody used to say and who you used to be and how things, when you stay stuck in these old narratives, they have a way of becoming a self-fulfilling prophecy. Those stayed on stuck stories that don't serve you anymore keep you small. Whether it's a story about being unworthy, whether it's a story about having been unloved, whether it's a story about having been mistreated, whether it's a story about being unheard or underestimated, those narratives that you used to tell, because we're not telling them anymore. We're not staying stuck anymore. Those narratives become self-fulfilling prophecies if you don't rewrite them. You must rewrite the narrative. Your story is your superpower. You're missing out on an opportunity to lead. It's how you connect. It's how you inspire others. It's your story. And by letting other people define your story, you're missing the chance to use your voice to create real impact and real change. So can you think of a time when somebody else's version of your story held you back? Can you think of a time when somebody else's version of the what had happened was held you back? How did that make you feel? Let's talk about it in the comments. This is interactive. You got to talk to me. So oftentimes rewriting your story can be a challenge. It can be difficult, but it doesn't have to be. And the first step to rewriting your story is to have courage to do so. Courage is being afraid and doing it anyway. Courage is having faith over fear. Courage is knowing that your intentions are greater than where you are in the moment. Rewriting your story takes courage, especially when society has conditioned us to believe that our truth isn't valid or important in the first place. Lies, society tells us. Lies that some of us believe from society. Conditioning. Other reasons why it may be difficult or a challenge to rewrite your story. A lot of times we'll hold back because we're afraid of what somebody else is going to think. But I'm here to tell you this. People are going to judge you anyway. It doesn't matter what you do. People will judge you no matter what you do. Doesn't matter if you gave $1 billion to your favorite charity. Somebody's going to be like, she couldn't even give $1,000,001. She could only do $1 billion. It doesn't matter. If you solved world hunger, people are going to say, well, why didn't you cure cancer too? You might as well tell your story your way, because you best believe you're already being judged anyway. So go for what you know and be true to you. Now, as Black women, and I'm not just speaking to Black women, but as a Black woman myself, I can say that we collectively have been taught to shrink ourselves. Now, I know we're not a monolith, but I'm speaking about in my lived experience. We've been taught to shrink ourselves as Black women, as a minoritized population. We've been taught to be strong, but not too strong. We've been taught to be ambitious, but not too ambitious. This conditioning doesn't just silence us, it keeps us playing small. It keeps us playing small. Why? And remember, as Zora Neale Hurston said, if you're silent about your pain, they'll kill you and say you enjoyed it. Your silence does not protect you, it isolates you. Your voice is the only way to reclaim your truth. So I ask you this question: what is one belief about yourself that you know needs to change? What's something that you believe to be true about yourself that you know not only did somebody lie to you, but you're also lying to yourself? Drop that in the comments. Again, I'd love to hear you so I can support you through it. Let's talk about how to rewrite your story using my PRO framework. PRO stands for power, reach, and opportunity. And this is the framework that I use when I'm working with my public speaking clients. I'm here to help you gain more power, reach, and opportunity because I want to help you to take control of your story and rewrite it your way. Let's talk about power. Reclaim your power by identifying the parts of your story that you've been avoiding. Reclaim your power by identifying the parts of your story that you've been avoiding. It's the thing that you haven't been facing that's keeping you from moving forward. You got to face it. What's one truth that you've been afraid to tell? You can't get to the thing that you want if you haven't faced the thing that you didn't want to face. I want you to start there with that truth that you've been afraid to tell. Start there and speak it boldly. It's not a lie. Not anymore. Not anymore. We're going to rewrite the story. Reclaim your power. That one truth that you've been afraid to tell, face yourself. Let's talk about reach. When it comes to reach, I want you to think about who needs to hear your story. Who needs to hear what you have to say? Your words have the power to connect and inspire and bring about change. Whether it's one person or a whole audience, your story can make a difference. But you got to open up your mouth to speak. You cannot remain silent. Remember, yesterday was about silence keeps you stuck. We're getting unstuck today. Okay? Let's talk about opportunity, because every time you tell your story, you're creating an opportunity for someone to grow, for you to grow, for someone to heal, for you to heal, for someone to find their space of leadership, and for you to be a leader. You're using your voice to create the future that you want. Those frequencies, those vibrations, they go out into the universe, and the universe responds. It's going to give you everything you've asked for. It's going to match that frequency. But you got to open up your mouth and speak. So, which part of my PRO framework, power, reach, or opportunity, feels most important to you for your story right now? Do you want to stand in your power? Do you want to expand your reach? Or do you want to increase opportunities through your voice? Which one of those feels most important to you in your story? Let me know and comment below, okay? When I began to rewrite my own story, it was about taking control of that narrative and refusing to let someone else define and qualify and quantify my worth. And that's what public speaking is about. It's not just about words, it is about power. And it's about using your voice to lead, inspire, and create change. I spoke myself exactly into where I am right now. I verbalized it. It had to be uttered, it must come out. Now, tomorrow, we're diving a little bit deeper and we're going to stand boldly and unapologetically. Okay? Tomorrow, we're standing boldly in our truth and we're unapologetically demanding our worth. So, tomorrow, we're going to explore how to use your voice to own every space that you enter so that you can leave a lasting impact. Now, if today's session resonated with you, I'd love to invite you to join my 30-day speaker sprint. This isn't just about public speaking, it's about transforming your life by using your voice as a tool for leadership and change. Sign up today, and I'll give you a bonus one-on-one strategy session with me to kickstart your journey. Last question for you. What is one step you'll take this week to rewrite your story? Will it be signing up for the 30-day speaker sprint? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you tomorrow for day 3.